Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Before we came back to Parliament, I ran the emotional gauntlet of sending my daughter off for her first day at primary school, which the tears were not flowing, but she has been keeping me up to date with all of the things that she has been learning. But it's helped me put into focus and context my aspirations for her, and from that, my aspirations as a politician for the children of Scotland, because that is now both of my children into the education system, and I want to ensure that we have an education system that is absolutely working for all of the children who are within it. And that's why I've welcomed the extension of the attainment fund that took place over the summer, which will see 2 schools in my constituency, Manor Park and Bramble Brae, benefit from that funding. Manor Park and Bramble Brae are schools which are doing a tremendous amount of work in communities of deprivation within Aberdeen. But as has been highlighted, and I've said in the Chamber, there is a world outside of the school gates, Presiding Officer, which affects the chances of children. And often what we find is that the schools that the children attend are working against external factors rather than being able to absolutely maximise the educational outcomes for our children. So absolutely, the work that is being done within our schools is vital. But that wraparound outside the school, many of those factors which lie out with the control of the Scottish Government is important as well, although I'll come on to talk a little bit more about some of those things. Also, the expansion of childcare and at the early years is important and welcome, and the plans to go further, I think, will be of benefit not just to children but also to parents who will be able to take the opportunity, should they choose to do so, to get back into the workforce at an earlier point than might otherwise have been the case. I welcome the announcement that the Energy Jobs Task Force will be extended for 6 months, although this obviously is a bittersweet welcome, given that there are still pressures facing those working in the energy sector, many of whom are my constituents. Indeed, just recently there were some regrettable announcements regarding helicopter pilot jobs. One of the things that's been raised with me is the difficulty for helicopter pilots in finding alternative employment, because there are not a lot of helicopter jobs available out there, and the options and opportunities for reskilling those who find themselves in a position of redundancy is something that I hope the Energy Jobs Task Force will be looking at as part of its work. But this is support for a key sector within the northeast of Scotland. But there are other key sectors as well, and often one of the issues that has been raised with me is that we don't always hear enough about the other sectors that exist within the northeast of Scotland. One of those is life sciences, and I welcome the fact that it will continue to be a focus of the government's economic strategy. I visited a company in my constituency, Nova Biotics, over the summer alongside the Minister for Mental Health, Health Improvement and Sport, Jamie Hepburn. They are developing and working on a treatment for cystic fibrosis and are doing some fantastic work. They are a spin-out company from the Rowett Research Institute, and I think those kind of spin-out life sciences companies are the kind of companies that we want to see being fostered and supported, and I know that they are grateful for the support that the Scottish Government is giving to the life sciences sector. Beyond that, Presiding Officer, but within the energy sector, one of the decisions that I think needs to be probed quite seriously is the bizarre decision by the UK Government to apply the climate change levy to the renewable energy sector, a decision which seems absolutely and utterly without rhyme nor reason, but has been taken nonetheless, and that will do a significant amount of harm, I feel, to our attempts to diversify the energy sector within Scotland. In terms of the health sector and the improvements that have been made there, I believe that there have been improvements in terms of the health of our nation and also the experience of people in accessing our NHS. As the First Minister highlighted, we now have a greater number of people waiting for a shorter period of time within the health service. That, by any measure, is improvement. But I also welcome the moves in the primary care sector, and the Health Secretary and I have had a number of discussions regarding the issues around primary care and general practice, particularly some of the pressures that are being experienced within my own constituency. I met again with local GPs recently who are looking at a local level around how primary care will be shaped and delivered. I also, during the same day that the Minister for Health Improvement was in my constituency, visited the Middlefield Healthy House, a nurse practitioner-led service which is delivering very strong support for a community of deprivation in my constituency. And I believe that there are a number of ways in which the primary care sector can complement across disciplines in order to reduce some workload, but also to improve patient experience and patient outcomes. And I know that's something that the Cabinet Secretary and I have spoken about, and I know it's something that she is very keen to explore as well. And then on to the issue around social justice and improvement of living standards. And I mentioned the factors that exist outside of the school gate which affect children's life chances and children's educational outcomes. And one of those is around income and the difficulties that many people have in communities in sustaining without the requirement for example, tax credits, which we know are about to come under significant attack from the UK government. The living wage is crucial. And the reason why it's called the real living wage and not the phony living wage that the Conservatives are putting forward is because it actually meets the standards of the living wage and hasn't just been a repackaging of the minimum wage, because we know that the £9 an hour that they trumpet will not be a living wage by the time it comes into force. That sort of work is important to ensure living standards increase and to ensure that families have the best possible opportunities in our society. I welcome this programme for government because it is ambitious for and about Scotland.
Thanks very much.